Good morning, or good night, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world, whenever this video finds you. I hope that you have a full heart and a full cup of coffee with me. But if it's night, maybe you have a cup of tea. I am currently sitting next to a birth altar that me and my daughter created yesterday for my best friend because she is currently in active labor and bringing a sweet little soul into our world. And this is something really special that I do that I learned through my sister, who is a birth doula. And I actually also created a birth altar during my birth, and I even started it during my pregnancy. And that was something really powerful for me throughout my labor, and I had a natural birth. And that's a video that I will drop into at another time of just how to create your birth altar, how to connect with it, how to utilize it in the birth space. But for today, I thought it would be really sweet to just drop into what the birth altar means for me when I create it for others, how it helps me, how it helps them. And yeah, just it's something that you can use when people in your life aren't having a baby and you aren't there, or maybe you're states or countries away, but you want to just be able to help or offer something. Because sometimes when someone's in labor, you kind of feel helpless in a way if you're not actively with them there in the room. And so, yeah, that's one benefit to these, but there's so many more that I will drop into. So yesterday, Indigo and I was talking to my friend, texting her, and she had, early signs of labor. It really sounded like, okay, like baby is coming. And so at that moment, as soon as I intuitively felt like, yeah, this baby it's definitely on the way, her body's showing all the signs. And she's back in the US where I'm from. We were born and raised together. I've known her since I was like 4 years old. And she's a really, really special friend. And so I really wanted to be able to show up for her because I'm not going to be home for another month and a half. And so I went for a walk with Indigo, and it was honestly the most beautiful and epic walk that I've had in a really long time, which is really cool because before I knew that my friend was going into labor, I was doing a sauna, and I got the download that I should just go out in nature with the baby today, but it was pouring rain out. So I was like, why am I getting this message to go out like in a rainstorm with the baby? And so anyways, the rain calmed down. And so I put the baby on one of like the front wearers, and we start walking, and we're probably like 5 to 10 minutes into the walk, and it just starts downpouring on us. And at that point, I knew I was going to be picking flowers for my friend. And so I thought to myself, I was like, this is just meant to be. Like, we are just gonna walk in this rainstorm. And when it first started, the sun was out. So it was super, super epic. And so I got this really cute video for my friend of just like the sun shining through, and you could just see the rain falling. And me and Indy were just talking to her and explaining that we were picking flowers and creating her birth altar. And I'm definitely known as that friend. Like, I get the crystals out, I have the flowers, I have all of the goodies. So she totally was excited and expected that from me. And even got my sister to create a birth altar out west of the US where my sister lives. So just so that my friend feels super extra supported. And yeah, so we were just walking in the rain, and we were walking to this tree that is here where we are currently staying. It's this really sacred, beautiful tree. You can't even walk up to it. It's all fenced off. And at that moment, I also was like, oh, this is so meant to be that I'm also walking to this tree, because I could feel this tree has such a spiritual connection, which is great for the birth space, and just the way that people talk about the tree around here. Like, it's really powerful and important to them. And so we were walking to the tree to see that. And just on the way, there's all these epic flowers. Like, these are all wild flowers, which is so crazy. And so as I'm walking, I open up a prayer and I begin setting intentions for creating this birth altar for my friend. And so really during this time for me personally, it's just bringing the presence of her, of this new soul that's coming to the earth, of dad, of baby siblings, and just really inviting that energy to have just a really grounded, healthy energy, healthy mom, healthy baby, good birth, and just really just opening the prayer. So I call in the elements. And this is something that you could do if it feels aligned for you, but you don't have to do this. I'm just going to go through the process of everything that I do, and then you can kind of pick and choose, oh, that feels aligned to me, I'd like to do that, that doesn't feel great for me. You can even think about the person that you're creating it for. What aligns for them, right? And this is something that you don't always have to share with the woman or the family that is having the baby. This is something that you can do just by yourself. And then maybe later you would share that with them, because obviously the mom is in active labor. She's not going to be replying to you. And you could create this space, a birth altar for them at any moment of their pregnancy. You could do it on day 1, you could do it halfway, you could do it like I do for the active births. And so, yeah, just picking every flower, just being really intentional, thinking about baby. And Indigo picked some of the flowers too, so that her energy was in there. We got to the tree. We were just like on a really calm, like dirt road. So we were just like dancing in the rain. Indigo is laughing. She's soaking wet. I'm soaking wet. And then the sun comes out, so it was really nice. And then I look up at the sky on our way back, and there's just this opening in the sky. Like the whole sky is dark, 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 because the sun went away. Then there's just like this opening with all these like epic clouds, and it's like light blue, just like it really, truly looked like the portal and like the baby opening up the sky to come through. And my baby is 1 at the end of this week, and she's a Taurus. And so now my friend's baby is also a Taurus. So I was also messaging her saying like this energy, this Taurus baby has such a potent, beautiful, nature-oriented energy, and is definitely moving between the realms right now. And yeah, so then we came home, and of course I put the flowers in a vase of water, and then a little bit later it was time to set up the altar. So on our walk, I also called in our angels. I think I mentioned earlier, I call in the elements, earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, any ancestors or angels that want to be with me or that want to be with her during her birth space, and just calling on the highest vibrations of health and strength, and sending her everything that she needs to get through the birth and everything that the baby needs to get through the birth, and dad, and just really holding a beautiful space for them. And then I am obviously traveling, so I don't have all the knickknacks and goodies to create the birth altar, but for mine, I have just my crystals surrounding it. I have Indigo's crystals surrounding it. And then Indigo had picked this leaf yesterday, so we put that in there. And of course, as we're creating the birth altar, she's with me, and she brought over her little roly wooden rabbit, which I think is so cute, and obviously had to go on the altar because that's for the baby. That was from Indy on the altar for the baby. And so yeah, it like even right now, like I'm like tearing up almost, because it feels so raw and powerful, and I really do feel connected to her in this space, and I wish I could be there for her to help her move through it, because I know how difficult labor is. But yeah, she's one strong mama, and this is her 3rd, so it's not her first round. But yeah, it just allows you to really have that connection with that person that is going through the birth. And I would say there's quite a few different benefits to creating the birth altars. So you have energetic support, there's emotional support for yourself. Like I said, you have a spiritual connection, and you can even like manifesting positive outcomes, healing ancestral lineage, and offering just like love and healing and a beautiful life for baby, and just feeling useful and connected at this time to the mom and to the family when they're birthing. And so energetically, as I've been sharing my story, you can kind of hear what you're doing energetically. You're calling in the highest vibrations. You're calling in your spirits, your angels, the earth, whatever feels connected to you. And you're asking them to hold the baby and the mom and the family in this sacred space, hold them in health, hold them in love. And you are also getting this emotional support for yourself, because like I said earlier, you just kind of sometimes can feel helpless. It can feel like, even if you're in the same town as this person and you're not actively in the room, you can just kind of feel like, what am I supposed to do? And you also can feel really anxious, because you might receive a text from the mom, and then you don't hear from her for hours or 12 hours or 24 hours, or even maybe you're texting the dad and he's like, I don't really know what's going on. She might need to get a C-section. And you're like, you just feel so helpless at that time. And all that you want to do is offer support and love. And this is what the birth altar can give to you. You're able to give the love, give the support, manifest the healing, and that emotionally supports yourself, also gives you something to do, right? And it's fun and it's beautiful. And you can really create it in any way that you want to. So some other ideas for your birth altar, like I said, I'm traveling, so this is what it was for me, but you could have photos of mom, of baby, of dad, like ultrasound photos of baby. You could have something that represents the mom. You could have photos of your guides. You could have photos of angels that are there to protect. You could have really anything, like your crystals. You could put herbs out. You could put anything that has to do with the elements. You could light a candle. That's a really powerful one that my sister always does. You can light a candle for the mom. You could light one for the baby, for the dad, or you could just light one for everything. You could have sage and Palo Santo. You could, leaves, flowers, seeds, herbs, toys. You could also, something else to occupy your time is you could write a poem. You could write a letter to mom, baby, whoever you want to. You could put that on the altar. You could, really, it's infinite, right? There's so many different things. You could go to the beach and pick seashells if that's something and that connects you to the person. And I say that because that connects me to my friend, but we aren't anywhere near the ocean and I don't have any seashells or sea glass with me. So my sister handled that. There's sea glass on her altar for her. And it just is a really beautiful way just to feel connected to mama and baby. Also in this space, you're able to just manifest and visualize them in health, visualize a healthy baby, happy tears in the birth room. I'm sure there's going to be maybe some tears from mama when she's birthing, but also calling in the feminine energies. That's something that you could put on your altar. You could put any different goddesses. You could put, you can't see this, but this is like a moonstone. So I have the energy of the moon, and my friend and me are very connected to the ocean. So I definitely called in the ocean and the energy of the river that we grew up singing to periwinkles on, this is actually a very cute story. So one time I was talking to my mom when I'm older, this is probably like a few years ago, and I was talking about how I used to sing when I was little. I'd sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star into the periwinkles down at the river. And she looked at me and she's like, what? She was like, I never taught you how to do that. Because I think I was asking her, like, that's such a cute thing, like to get the snail to come, or the periwinkle to like come out. Yeah, the snail to come out of the periwinkle shell. We would sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. And she's like, I never taught you that. She's like, you should ask Sophie. This is my friend that's in labor right now. I don't know why I haven't said her name this whole time. You should ask her if she did that when she was little. So the next time we're hanging out, I'm like, hey, did you ever sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star into the periwinkles? And she was like, of course, every day. Like, that was our childhood. And I was like, that is so crazy, because essentially what happened was I was with Sophie when I was little. I watched her do it and she taught me, or her grandma or her mom taught me. And then I continued that on by myself. And then I remembered it when I got older. And then my mom was like, I didn't teach you that, someone else did. Like, go to your best friend when you were little, ask her if she does that. And so that's just such like a sweet little side story. So I always sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star into the periwinkles. And you should do that too and teach your kids that, because it's so cute. The snail literally comes out when you start singing. And now like my niece and my baby, they both do that. And of course her babies do that. So fun little ocean mermaid side story. And yeah, because her and me and my sister and all of our friends were like the river mermaids. So yeah, we're big ocean girls. And yeah, what else? So those are all the things that you can kind of do in this space. And yeah, like I said, it's pretty open and can be whatever you want it to be. And it's really just honoring the birth as a rite of passage and allowing it to be the sacred event that it is, because oftentimes, of course, if you're having a baby in the hospital, it can kind of just be seen as a medical event, and birth is so much more than that. This woman is bringing a soul, bringing a human into the earth. Like, it's crazy. It's so hard to even wrap your head around if you try to sit and really think about the birth and the experience. And so rather it just becoming this medical event, you holding this space is also really honoring it as a rite of passage from the baby going from one realm and coming into the earth, and not just being this whole medical process, which I think most moms would really appreciate. And yeah, just feel into energy of the mom that you are creating this space for. She might not want to see it right away. She might want to see it right away. She might never want to see it, but this is something that can help you. And I think most women would really love that and would really feel held, because that doesn't always happen. And it also opens up a lot of space for the mom and the dad to have their alone time, be with their baby, feel held. You could also tell the mom before this, like, hey, I'm not gonna bother you, but this is what I will be doing. Like, is that okay? And it just gives mom and dad space to do what they need to do and not feel overwhelmed with people messaging them like, how's it going? What's next? Blah, blah, blah. Because a lot of times, like, the mom can't even answer. They don't really have their phones, or they do, and it just feels like intrusive or too much. And so just really being able to pour your energy in this and be intentional is, yeah, very, very like crucial. I guess, I don't know if that's the right word, but it feels really important, I guess, is a good way of putting it. And you could also call in healing for the ancestral lines, because of course in life, all of our ancestral lines have had hard things happen, negative things happen, have had just life, right? And so just calling in the highest timeline for this baby, calling in health and healing and love and healing of the ancestral timeline, and allowing this baby's new lineage to be a fresh start and beginning. And yeah, I'm really excited. I'm not going to check my phone out on my phone. I'm like, is this baby born yet? And it's kind of cool that I'm recording this, because I was going to do a whole entire separate video. And then I saw the birth altar and I was like, I feel like this is so much more important. Like, I feel like people need to know, how can I support without being overbearing? How can I, and especially if you're far away, and I'm far away a lot of the time. So yeah, this is something. And you can even keep this going during the postpartum for mom, because obviously postpartum is a really hard time. Or you could even ask the mom, like, hey, like, I have the birth altar that I created for you. Do you want me to come over and set it up at the house so that you have this like really beautiful altar to look at? Maybe don't do this like first day home, second day home. Maybe wait like a week or two. You can always buy new flowers if needed. But yeah, it allows you to just feel really connected and useful, and just like you have something to do if you have nothing to do when mama is birthing. So yeah, I feel like that kind of goes over everything. If you have any questions or feedback on what you do, like maybe you have something that you do, that a space that you hold for mothers, that I'm always open to hear that. And yeah, I love just like sitting with the altar and just, saying some prayers in the morning, at night, sitting with my coffee with it. She would love that too. She would be like, yeah, please sit with coffee with the altar and tell that baby to hurry up. So yeah, that is a birth altar for my best friend. And you can create altars for so many different things in life. I'm sure that while you were listening to this video, it might have sparked your interest. Like, oh, I could create a birth altar or I could create an altar for this or that, right? Like, this is just a birth altar, but you could create altars for really anything and for anyone. I just have my own altar coming with me and going with me everywhere. So in every space that I'm living, I always have an altar that I come back to, and just really able to connect to my spiritual side, and it calms me and just makes me feel safe and at home. So yeah, I hope that this video helped you and that you are able to create a birth altar or any kind of altar for anyone in your life. But I do know that it was so special to me when I had people creating altars for me. My sister created one for me, and then she also was with me during my birth, and she transported most of my altar, what I told her to transport, from the house to the hospital so that I had my birth altar with me, right next to me with all my angels at my birth. And that made it really, really special. So I am sending infinite love and gratitude for being here, and I will see you in the next video.